Live from New York, it's a show that put a mascot in the show today. First time in show history. Usually I'm anti-mascot. Did you guys know that about me?
Hold on. Can I do that? What's the Johnny Carson game?
We've never had a mascot in the show because I find that their antics.
We had a goat or a deer.
Yeah.
You brought a live deer.
That's different.
On here.
I'm talking about the
really
antics of a mascot.
But he saw, like I saw, Rocky, the Nuggets mascot, go 60 feet in the air and hit a backwards.
He should be playing for the Nuggets.
Man,
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that is
also
incredible.
Just standing up there is pretty unbelievable.
Right. And then to make a shot?
Yeah.
OSHA violation.
I thought it's crazy.
Like, you could be good at that and just miss it.
Yeah.
Did he make it on the first try?
I don't know that.
It might have taken him 18 times.
I would like to see him versus Red Panda in some version of, the greatest.
It was.
The plates.
A little birdie just told me it was multiple tries.
Well, that's okay.
I mean, give me
wait
7
till people
shots
see this.
from
You
there.
know, Brew, you couldn't get
You're
up
not doing
there.
7 shots from there.
1 for 7 is like
Brew, you
14%.
14%. I think
from
I
half
shoot 14%.
From half
He was actually, it was full court, wasn't it?
It was half
He
court
at one
on a
basket,
ladder.
it was
On a
half
ladder. On
court.
triple
Yeah, but
ladder.
he's way up there.
First things first. It was a good physics problem. Today, Denver wins. Do they now have control of this series? Meanwhile, shh, the Rams are having secret meetings. Don't tell anybody. Are we buying all this subterfuge? What is this? Nick's favorite movie, Mission Impossible? And finally, a fresh episode of King of the Hill. Yeah, count that.
He's still mad.
I know, he's still mad. Also, speaking of KW still being
handily.
mad, are the Rams the team that laughed at your bad Cole Strange pick as he's now on his 3rd team and you thought it was outrageous?
Wonder.
First of all, it was a bad pick.
Yep.
They were right.
Yep.
Everyone involved in the pick's gone from the Patriots, and KW's still mad about it.
It's an interesting lesson in human psychology.
It
It turns out you were right the whole time, but the attitude still stings and still rubs me the wrong way.
He just wants to rip the...
Yeah, it's an interesting
I knew that's
lesson.
what you were mad about.
Drive me nuts.
Let it go.
knew it.
Playing
Let
the
it go.
smartest guys on the planet. All right, we're starting in Denver. Joker notches his 23rd playoff triple-double, 3rd most all-time behind.
Magic.
Yep.
And LeBron.
You guys got it right, just like me. To stave off elimination by the shorthanded Wolves, who did manage to put up 113 points. Here's Denver's coach, David Adelman, on the Joker.
Yoke's yoke. I mean, it's these sample size games and the freakouts when he doesn't play well. You know he's going to play well. I mean, and his 16 assists, to somebody's point earlier, assists are hard to get unless you make shots.
Okay, what did Joker prove last night?
I mean, I don't know if he had to prove something. Obviously, he needs to win the series, but I'm saying it's not a surprise to me that he came out and had a great game. What was more surprising is that he was struggling, and maybe I'd feel differently if he had not had great success against Gobert in the past. Like, he's had his way with Gobert entering this series, like 50 playoff games he's played well. So I figured at some point he'd figure it out. Sure. I'm not saying he's going to have his way with him the rest of the series, but he played smart. He always plays smart, but I thought it was wise of him. I said yesterday, go into the mid-range. And his first 2 buckets were kind of mid-range floaters that you can, Gobert's not right up on you. So he hit those, gets in a little rhythm. And then anytime Naz Reid was switched on to him, he took him into the post. So he got his rhythm going that way. I thought it was interesting that the 1-3, he's been struggling from 3, which has been a huge part of the problem for Denver. He's 18% in the series. He was 1 for 4 last night. The one he hit was before the buzzer at halftime, which makes me think, is he thinking too much? Because that one, obviously, you're not thinking. You just put it up.
But
does Gobert have him thinking too much during the game?
Sorry to interrupt and then keep going. When he hit that, because I tweeted it, I was like, I wonder if Joker's about to hit like 8 of his next 11 threes over the next few
I
games.
did think it was
I thought
gonna
him
get him
making
going.
that, but then
Yep.
he didn't make any. He only took, I think, 1 in the second half, and he didn't make any more. So, but I did think just seeing that go in, it was the type of 3 he made in the conference finals the year they won the title, and that year he shot like 50% from 3 in the playoffs. That I thought that would get him going. But go ahead.
But the passing. I mean, his numbers have been great throughout the series. So the 16 assists. If he proved anything to some that didn't know, he's the best passing center ever. He just proved that again. Leading the break, has some great dimes. The key to the game, though, was Denver's, a combination, I guess, of Denver playing a little bit better defense, but Minnesota making 25 turnovers, which is the most in the history of their franchise. 99 playoff games. They've never turned it over 25 times. They entered this game averaging 12 turnovers a game. They had 13 was the most they've had in the game. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is their biggest ball handler, and then DiVincenzo's the other starting guard. So now let's see if that's a problem going forward. McDaniels had 4, a couple other players had 3 and 4. Like guys that aren't used to handling the ball as much had to handle it more. So that could be a problem. That's something Denver should try to capitalize on.
So what did Jokic prove last night? I think last night he proved there was nothing he could prove, and he proved nothing. They avoided disaster. That's what they did. Last night they avoided disaster.
Yep.
And to me, there's 3 branches this Nuggets season can go. And branch 1 is they lose this series. And it's an abject failure. It's particularly, it would have been a failure had Minnesota been fully healthy and beat them.
Right.
You were peaking at the right time in Denver. You were the scary team. I spent so much time being like, oh my God, the Spurs screwed themselves by getting this round 2 matchup. So losing in round 1 would have been a disaster no matter what. Losing in round 1 when the other team's starting backcourt is out, it'd be catastrophe.
Yeah.
So that's branch 1. Branch 2 is they win this series and then lose to the Spurs. And that would mean this series kind of meaningless. Because people will say, well, when Minnesota was fully healthy, they had you dead to rights.
Yep.
The Spurs beat you. And then I think you do have to start to consider, is this Nuggets era, is it over? Is it?
I think you're right on the money.
And what that would mean for Joker, who has a lot of great basketball left, but he likely is going to land in the all-time pantheon in the Dr. J, Moses, Oscar, Giannis, West area, rather than that upper area we've been talking about, because they, to me, wouldn't have a lot of flexibility forward. The third branch, however, is they win this series, and then they go and beat the Spurs. And Joker looks like he did in the regular season against Wemby, and then retroactively this series becomes less about what Joker didn't do and more about, holy moly, wow, what a job Rudy Gobert did. Look at what Joker looked like against the unanimous defensive player of the year.
Basically, Rudy can't lose.
Yes, and it becomes less about Joker's failings and more about, hey, that is a really tough matchup. That team is, that's a great rivalry. Rudy did a great job. Maybe a little lesson for Wemby as far as, against this player, strength is more important than length, whatever it is. But that's where Denver is now. Like, the only way to get back what they lost over the last week and what Joker lost is in the next round.
Yeah, that's
and so I don't think, if you think, Brew, I'm moving the goalpost or being unfair, I think that's a pretty objective given where Minnesota sits.
So
right
you're
now.
saying if they win this round, because I think if they win this round, nobody's worried that much about how Gobert kind of solved Jokic.
Yeah.
You're saying if they lose the second round, though, now you look at this round, the Gobert gave him problems. They lost to Wemby.
I just think that if they lose in the next round and it's like, all right, they won the title and then it's 3 straight years, they're out in round 2. The Spurs are arrived. The Thunder are there. The Nuggets now have real concerns. Can we rely on Aaron Gordon for,
No,
you know,
they
the
got
end of the
major
year.
concern
The
because-
Christian Brown contract looks like one of the worst. He has a 5-year, $125 million deal that hasn't started yet. He's been a week. Like, you start to say, you know, was their championship window 20 to 25? And it's over.
Well,
like that was the era.
Also, because their two nemesis, OKC and San Antonio, are just gonna get better.
Right,
And
they're
the
younger.
Lakers are gonna be there with Luka. They need to get if they go out in the first or second round, they need to get another star or a superstar. One thing I will give Jokic, I mentioned it, the 5 centers I have ahead of him all had superstar teammates, perimeter teammates. So I think you got to go get him something like that because they have to try to win as many championships as they can with him, which I'm not sure they've been doing. I think they were happy with their one and they've kind of coasted.
Just quickly before we go to the Pistons, who do you have in this series now?
I'm going to say Minnesota gets game 6. I mean, but if it goes 7, I don't like Minnesota's chances.
I mean, Minnesota has won a game
They
7
really
in
have to,
Denver, but Anthony Edwards was there.
I think they got to win 6.
I think Denver's going to win the series, and then I picked them to go to the finals. I have hated how they have looked in this series. I am leaving open the possibility it is truly just a terrible matchup.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that they match up better against San Antonio, and that Joker, if he gets to the other side of it, will feel like averted disaster there. Now let me
Wonder
go.
where they have Gordon too. That'll be
Well,
cool.
that's the other thing. Yeah, these calf strains.
You got to be careful.
Calves and hamstrings.
Yeah, not great.
Achilles, on the other hand, no big deal. Earlier in Detroit, Cade had another 8 turnover game. Pistons only scored 88 points to find themselves in a 3-1 hole to the 8 seed in Magic. Now, they're the 6th 1 seed to find themselves in this spot. All have lost, except, fittingly, the Pistons, who beat the Magic. So what has gone wrong for the Pistons?
Well, first of all, let me say 2 things I'm ashamed of.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, I picked Detroit to get to the finals.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, right now I would say they're not even getting to the second round. All right. And I was fooled by how they were winning all those games without Cade. Because going into that, I felt, they match up great against the Knicks. They couldn't play with Boston. They'll score too much, you know. But I was thinking, wait, they averaged 116 points a game while Cade was out. They were on a winning streak. And so I figured, okay, they're going to have some offense outside of him. Turns out they don't at all. I don't know what happened. It's disappeared. Secondly, and I want to let me credit Jalen Duren. He had a great regular season.
All
he was
NBA
second
level.
on all, most improved player on my ballot and overall. I'm comforting myself by saying it's a regular season award. So I had him on second team All-NBA.
Yeah.
Now, I would have felt better putting him now on third team. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been All-NBA, but I'd have felt much better with him on third team because he is getting not destroyed, solidly outplayed by Wendell Carter.
Yeah.
I mean, a straight-up role player is outplaying him decisively. All right, so what's happened to them is this is a tough matchup for them. Orlando was supposed, as you know, your favorite team, was supposed to be better than Detroit going into this season.
Preseason win total 55.5 Orlando, 46.5.
Oh, so significantly better.
Yeah.
Franz Wagner missed 48 games. Jalen, is it Suggs? Suggs missed 30, almost 30 games.
They seem to hate the
25
coach.
games.
Yep.
It seems, I don't know what's going on now. They've reconciled. But so they never really got to play fully together. Obviously, they just got healthy. Now, Wagner, that could be big. And maybe that's an opening
Wagner,
for
another calf strain.
Yeah, and that could be an opening for the Pistons. But last year they were second in the league in defense. They were physical, they were tough, they were like Detroit and couldn't shoot.
Yeah.
They got Desmond Bain, so you felt like, okay, that's their shooting, even though it didn't fully solve it. My point is this. They are very similar to the Pistons in defense. Now that they've gotten it together, physical, they're going at them. And then they are more talented offensively. Not just Carroll, Wagner, certainly when he's healthy.
Sure.
Suggs is okay. And Desmond Bain. Bain, Wagner, and Carroll are legitimate 20-plus point scorers. Detroit has Cade. They're locking off the lane, doubling him. And he's just got to do it all, and he can't. That's their problem. They're in deep trouble. I think they're going to lose it. But, hopefully they'll come back.
Do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Listen, the point you made was something I was going to say. Before the year, Orlando was supposed to be better.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Neither team, it's not like, but then neither team suffered the Houston-style injury of all these guys are out. Orlando was just dysfunctional. And what is so stunning about Orlando's how dysfunctional they were dysfunctional 10 days ago.
Right, right.
Game 82 in a game they needed, they lost to the Maine Red Claws.
Yep. Convincingly.
The first play-in game, they lost to Philly. We were on here last Friday talking about how you guys wanted the Hornets to win because they at least could give us an entertaining round one.
That was
and
sound analysis.
Like, KW is going to act in a moment like this is his team. He wanted them out of the playoffs. Of
course.
For Charlotte.
They wanted to be out of the playoffs.
And
the Hornets, they caught the buzz once they beat the Hornets.
They got one half of Hornets playing basketball, and it made them believe
like,
we can beat anybody.
Good.
Look at us. And so that's what Orlando finally putting it together, and credit to the much maligned and under a lot of pressure Jamal Mosley.
Yes.
Because
I think you got to keep him, assuming they win this series.
I mean, listen, he was as pre-fired as any coach ever has been, and now they're going to be the first team potentially in 15 years to beat a 60-win team in round one. Like, to, have an 8-1 upset. Like, so credit to him because I thought they were done. It seemed like he and Paolo were at odds, all of it. So that's the Orlando credit. The Detroit discredit is, what the hell, guys? And I don't want to be too hard on Cade because he is having to do everything, but he has like 24 turnovers in the last 3 games. Not great. Yeah. In the series, Duncan Robinson is second on the team in assists with 10. No one else can create for anybody. Duncan Robinson's not known to be he's a shooter, not a great distributor. And yesterday, in a game their season was on the line, Orlando so badly wanted to give it to him.
Yes.
Asar Thompson tied the game, KW. Don't put it up yet, Dust. 85 apiece with 5:20 left. The rest of the game, Orlando made one shot, a banked-in 3 by Bain. They made one shot, the final 5:20. It was tied. So how do you lose, Detroit? Now you can put it up by doing this. Final 5:20 of the game, score 1 point. 0 for 9 from the field, 0 for 7 from 3, 1 for 4 free throws, 2 turnovers. They did get a layup with like 8 seconds left, down 8, when it mattered nothing.
But to your point, Orlando's not shooting well. They're under 40% for the series.
I am here to I am giving Orlando credit, but I am here to tell you Orlando's not playing that well.
So
and they're up 3-1 on the Pistons.
Let me say this quickly because I know you want to go. I don't know if Orlando would be better against the Knicks or the Cavs or whatever, but in a head-to-head matchup, you know what I'm seeing? They're better than Detroit. I mean, seriously. I know it sounds crazy. It's an 8 versus a 1, a 60-win team. Head-to-head, they are better than Detroit. They're just showing it. Game after game.
You want to hear something crazy? We are a couple long nights at the club from James Harden away from a Raptors Magic series where one team's going to the conference finals. We could have Raptors Magic round 2 with a conference finals appearance on the line. That is what it is.
Orlando, Toronto.
Dwight Howard and Vince Carter not walking through that door, boys and girls.
Combined shooting percentage of 40%. Second worst series in the last 20 years.
Oh, that's for the series,
not
for the game.
That's for the series.
I mean, this is
40%.
You're up. You're going to knock out the 1 seed shooting 39%
from the field.
It's nuts.
Come on, man.
This is a little bit.
Well,
I know we were like, oh, it's outside of Cade. Cade was a top of, and I know it's not all, first team All NBA, but he was a top of King of the Hill for a brief moment.
I think once.
Once, yeah.
So it counts. He's first team All NBA to the point where it would
Maybe.
be. Well,
I think he will be, but yeah.
I think
I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be second.
It'll hit
I
him or
think it'll be
Jaylen
second.
Brown. He's
Yeah.
fit.
Oh, I
he's
thought he
five
was
six.
going to
Jaylen Brown.
But there was an argument that it would
Yeah.
have been a bit of an injustice
Not to have him on
not
there
to
'cause of
have
the
him
injury.
be eligible.
Yes.
And to get knocked out by the 8-seeded Magic and go down in history.
You putting a lot of this on him though? 'Cause I know
if
he's not.
you are
perfect. He's
actually-
got no help.
This is what I would say.
It's my Klay Thompson corollary.
What is that?
The best place to be in the NBA discourse is like the 12th best player
Oh,
in
yeah.
the world.
If you're
Because
gonna
you
be the
get
guy-
paid as much as the most, and when you're awesome, and when you're not awesome,
It's like,
nobody
man,
expects you to
he's
be.
not.
And
If
so,
it was
like,
Luka,
that's right. So,
LeBron's
but
doing
he's
against
not
the
as good
Rockets.
as
no,
Luka.
what K
Yeah,
Dub,
he's not.
But if you're on the first team All NBA, Jalen
that-
Brown did the whole year.
What
I know they're different teams, but Jalen Brown's guys were gone the whole year.
What KW is saying is that it is almost an insult to Cade to not be killing him for this.
Yes.
What you're saying
yes,
is
it's
like
very odd.
pressure is a privilege, as they say. Like the fact that if they lose this and he's not excoriated means in the
You're not the
minds
guy.
of most
But here's the
media,
thing.
he's not one of the
But if
guys.
we really looked at it, Jokic has Murray. Luka has Reeves and LeBron.
It's a
Like
reason not to
everybody's
make
got,
the
even
finals.
Jalen
But
has
not
some
to,
guys.
Drew, it's
But
not a
1-8?
reason
He's
not
got
to beat
nobody
the
else
How are they
that
the one
can
seed?
shoot the
Did he redo
freaking
the
ball.
team?
That's how
Who
good
one
he
seed?
was. That's how good he was.
Well, then
That's my
continue to
point.
be good.
That's why he was
If you're
in
the one seed,
MVP
continue to be
discussion.
good.
They look the Orlando scouting and being
God.
able to focus. Duncan Robinson's the only guy on the team that can shoot, and he can't get even any space. Any space.
They were the one seed. They are the current
That's how
one
good
seed.
Cade was in the regular season.
Well, continue to be
no,
good.
look, I don't. Something's changed because they kept winning without Cade.
Yeah.
I don't know what. in the
Jalen
world.
Duren's
Your
having a
boy
really rough
Dennis
series.
Jenkins.
Dennis
has
Jenkins
turned back
Not
and
Dennis
forth.
Jenkins'
I'm
fault.
just saying that. Well, look, Nick loved him.
He made the hill. All right. The sun has set on the Suns, swept by the Thunder. SGA at 31. It's the third straight year the Thunder have swept their first-round opponent. This time they did it by scoring the fifth most points ever in a sweep, almost 123 a game. Here's Devin Booker handing out some compliments.
You can't say anything without, bringing up Shea. He's the MVP of the league, and he's playing the best basketball in the league for the past 2 years. Mixed with, guys that know their role, some seasoned vets that, they're relentless. Like I said, with that chemistry, the communication, it's on 100%. And when the bench comes in, they get better sometimes. It's like reinforcement. It's not subs.
Okay, swept first-round opponents 3 consecutive years. SGA and the Thunder and LeBron's Cavs.
Right, and prior to that, the most recent one was Jordan.
Pretty good.
It wasn't best of 7.
Well, look,
Yeah,
we've
still, it's
started
easy.
talking about him in some pretty high company.
I know. Do the Thunder look scarier than ever?
Well, look, they look awesome. They look like a machine. But my answer is no. Because Jalen Williams, their second best player, is out with the hamstring injury. Now, I don't know. I think he looks like he could play.
They said
at
it was
some point in
grade
the
1,
second.
so
yeah, week to week he's.
Sure.
Yeah.
But in the 2 games he played, he averaged 20 points on 61% shooting. And to me, he started to look like the old Jalen Williams. Now look, during the season, they didn't miss a beat without him. A.J. Mitchell, all these guys, Lou Dort, Caruso.
Case and Wallace.
Yeah, Case and Wallace. All these guys came in and looked really good, and you wonder, wow, do they need him? You know what those guys could not do? And they essentially had the majority of the season to do it.
Score
One of
40?
them averaged 20 a game.
Okay, yeah.
Like none of them, like you can say, oh, they look just as good without James. None of them averaged 20 a game. And even A.J. Mitchell, who's kind of the one that's broken out, as a starter this year, he averaged 15 points, right below 15 points a game. So my point is, Jalen Williams is their second best offensive player, without question. He scored 40 in the pivotal game 5 in the finals last year. Now, that could make the Lakers maybe does that open things up for a Lakers series with OKC a little bit, give them at least a little more of a chance?
Yeah.
My point is just that without him, they're not at their peak.
Which is a testament to what SGA's done. So let me say, listen, because on the front end, because Thunder fans who right now are just they lapped the field in most annoying fan bases online, despite the fact that you guys won. Most people said all year SGA was the MVP, that because they don't like that folks point out that they have a hockey-style enforcer on the team in Lou Dort, and people don't like that a guy who has scored 20 points in every game for 2 years, has done this in fourth quarters, which we can show you, feels the need to do the flopping histrionic stuff. So it irritates people. But the fact of the matter is this guy is playing the offensive guard position as high at a level equal to anyone ever. He is not equal to any offensive guard ever. But the level at which he is playing right now, you can't say someone has played it at a significantly higher level. You can say they played it, against tougher competition or a longer period of time, but he's 17 of 18 in fourth quarters and overtimes for a month. No. For a month. He's leading the playoffs in scoring. He is going to win MVP again. And here, I normally would agree with you, Brew, about the Jalen Williams thing. But here's my question. And I know it sounds ridiculous. What is the evidence they need him? Because this is a huge sample. This is 2 years.
54-10 is wild.
They win 84% of their games without him.
So it's actually
77% with him. I'm not arguing they're better without him, but I am kind of arguing they don't need him.
But
now they do need him if someone else goes down. They have less of a margin.
Needed him in the finals.
Say it again.
Needed him in the finals.
They did need him in the finals because SGA they did need him in the finals, and maybe Brew's right. If the Lakers get fully healthy, which it seems like, man, Spanish medicine maybe is going to take a PR hit in this. I feel like Luka's behind schedule now. I don't know, but I think they look utterly dominant, and I think Shea's antics. I'm going to quote Miles Brown because he tweeted it and I thought it was brilliant. He said it's like Sherlock Holmes planting drugs on suspects. You don't need to do it. And it feels like it is too much. So it irritates me, but even without it, he's right now an unstoppable offensive player, and you pair that with the best defense in the league by a lot.
Here's what I'd say, though, and we got a ways to get there. Do you definitely feel like, and I'm not saying this as a guy that picked the Spurs, you definitely feel like they're going to beat the Spurs?
I don't definitely feel like they're going to beat LeBron, whether Luka comes back or not. But that's
why I'm saying no. They don't look more invincible than ever.
Should Cowboys fans be stressed about this George Pickens situation? That's next on FS1 of Fox Sports Channel. Podcast is going just swimmingly, and Gianna has all sorts of new content, original content. She's a content creator.
Normally today's we do our First Things First Newlywed show, but it conflicts with KW's schedule today, so it's postponed.
Did you want us to give us more time to do some research?
Yeah, because KW,
Gianna never even gave me the questionnaire.
I don't know as much about you as I know about Nick. You're secretive.
No, I'm not.
You are. You like to keep things.
George Pickens still on the Cowboys. Jeremy Fowler writing, quote, the Cowboys received a verbal commitment via email. I don't know what that means. From George Pickens' agent that the star receiver is signing his franchise tag, and he's yet to sign the tender, Todd Archer reported. Dallas still has no plans to trade him. Here's how well George Pickens did last year with CD in and out of the lineup. Top 10 in targets, receptions, yards, which had third most yards per reception, 15, and 9 touchdowns. And then that last game, he had 1 catch for 9 yards. Remember, he's kind of like
the last couple games
zoned out.
Kind of loafing.
Is this something or nothing?
Greg, I think it's something, and it's enough of something that this is why I cautioned anybody to trade for CD or trade for Pickens if they weren't dead set. We 100% are giving him a long-term extension, because you can't say it's. I understand he loafed a bit in the last couple games. It's not based on play.
Big games, too.
I get that, but they
Important.
But he played at a level that if they planned on paying him and having two of the highest paid receivers in the league, they were going to do it. Now, maybe some will say that this is, Jerry Jones just wants to stay in the headlines, all that stuff. It doesn't quite work with this because the franchise tag's weird. If he doesn't have a contract signed by July 15th,
exactly.
they're not allowed to sign him. If July 15th, they don't
sign him to long term.
Not allowed.
I don't think they have any plans of signing him.
So I agree with you on that. Right. So I agree with you, and I agree. I would be nervous to do it with this particular player. But this particular, almost no player. But I can tell you, I would bet a lot. This player, particularly with the agent that he has, who's a great agent, great at his job, man, they are not going to take the franchise tag laying down. They are going to make this as uncomfortable as possible, which means showing up the day before the season starts is on the board. That's not helpful. I don't begrudge Pickens doing that. He wants a contract. They don't want to give him one. He is under no obligation to sign that deal. I don't think he'll miss games because then he would miss money. Mm-hmm. But this is just more heading into a Cowboys season that I feel like is inevitable because we're going to know in short order whether or not they get a long-term deal done. And by July 15th, they're not allowed to get a long-term deal.
And they said they weren't going to
negotiate with him, right before the draft. So it is something. I'm with you. It's absolutely something. When you acquire a guy like George Pickens, to your point, for a third-round pick, you know if he plays up to what you hope his ability is, you know he is warranted and it's more valuable than just a third-round pick. So you understand the number that will pretty much come with that. Top 10 type level receiver. That's George Pickens when he is at his best, and he was at his best. I just don't think they ever planned to pay him. Because you have a guy like CeeDee Lamb, you understand, okay, he was in a situation not similar, but he was our offense. We paid this guy. We've seen how it works across the league with quarterbacks and offenses that just have two highly played offensive receivers. Yeah. It hasn't worked out really well for anyone other than Philly, but neither one of those guys
were top of the market.
Exactly. AJ or Devon, neither one of those guys were top. So when you look at this situation, George Pickens having the agent, you mentioned David Mulligetta, Micah Parsons' agent. Things didn't work out. Micah had the handshake with Jerry, and then David was like, nope, we're not taking that deal. So there's some history there. I don't think that really plays into this. I think it's just a matter of George understanding that, look, I'm going to try my best to, at all, and he has no leverage, try to make it seem like I have something. I'm too valuable to this offense. I put up too much work in numbers as it pertains to my production. I'm going to be that moving forward. But he has zero leverage in this situation.
Which is why I think it's nothing. It's something intriguing, something dramatic, but in the grand scheme of football, it's nothing. And to your point about his ability, he was better than CeeDee Lamb last year. And I think if you put the attitude and everything aside, which of course you can't, he might just be better than CeeDee Lamb. Last year, he was definitely better than CeeDee Lamb. It wasn't even close.
I'll give you that.
And I'm saying if you could get that George Pickens without the 2 games where he just disappeared,
I don't think that
you can't. But you can't do that.
He did it for 15 games. If he wanted to, that's my point. If he wanted to, he could do it. That's why he's not getting paid. Because we know your history with Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin soured on you. You came here.
But it's also why people would be hesitant to pay him.
Exactly.
Well, that's my point. That's why they won't pay. Yeah. And so I was just giving him props as a football player. But my point is this. He has no leverage. The Cowboys do not need George Pickens. All right? Whenever Dak is healthy with a competent number 1 receiver, CeeDee Lamb, Last year, the offense was 7th. We raved, how great the offense is. It was 7th in scoring, 27 a game. 2023, no George Pickens, just CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard, and Brandon Cooks was the number 2. They were the number 1 offense in the league, 30 a game. 2021, number 1 offense in the league, 31 a game. He's a luxury. So if he has no leverage, we don't need you. We just got to fix our defense because we're going to put up 27 points a game with or without you. And so if they can trade him for a number 2
but they
receiver,
can't trade him without him
picks,
signing the
correct.
tag.
That's my point. I think that's the goal. You sign, we'll trade you, maybe get a number 2 receiver or defensive help and some picks, and that'll be that.
So I honestly feel like Stephen Jones didn't do the Cowboys any positive service by stating we have no plan. Like, we're not doing the contract for 2026. Even if that were the case, don't go out and publicly say that, because that makes a player feel some type of way. Already being tagged makes you feel some type of way as a player. But George Pickens is not going to disrupt his offseason training or whatever he's doing right now to go and physically go to the facility, because you have to physically go in and sign that franchise tag contract. So you're not going to do that now. You're going to wait and see what all comes of it.
Can I just give one hypothesis? Because the odd part about this was right before the draft, it was reported he's signing it. Like, that was reported, and now it's reported. They emailed saying he was going to sign it, but now that he's not going to and that he hasn't. So here's my theory. I have not talked to David Mulligetta. I have not talked to the Cowboys, but it's the only thing that makes sense, especially in this era of kind of fuzzy NFL insider reporting. I think what David Mulligetta conveyed to the Cowboys was, right before the draft when players are traded, hey, if you work out a trade with a team that wants to sign my player to a long-term deal, we will sign the franchise tag. Because that's the only way you can be traded, is you have to sign the tag. That then got conveyed to the insiders as he's agreed to sign the tag.
Right.
And then when a trade on draft day doesn't materialize and the Cowboys are like, we're not going to be able to get anything for this season for him. We're not interested in trading him. That's when the news now is he's not going to sign it. I don't think George Pickens, because you guys are right, he doesn't have leverage. But what's also true is this. He has no reason to sign it.
He doesn't.
Because all that's signing until the day before the season starts. Yep. All that's signing it means is you have to show up to work. Like, by not signing it, you can skip everything and not be fined.
Correct.
You can skip training camp, skip mini camp,
everything.
All that stuff you don't get paid to do. They can just fine you for not doing.
But if he just shows up the day before the season, they'll still be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah. He knows to play, and he has to play well if he wants a long-term contract with somebody.
Okay, moving on. Sean McVay did not appear thrilled that the Rams spent their first-round pick on Matt Stafford's successor, Ty Simpson from Alabama. Now, the Rams have floated out several theories on why that is, including to support Stafford, that's nice, or a continuing confusing subterfuge to throw teams off the draft scent, even though he's drafted already, continued post-draft. Here's Ty Simpson.
We tried to keep this, under wraps as long as we could. It was something to where I knew they were interested, but they wanted to, make it private and didn't want people to know that, they were interested. So I had some secret meetings with, Coach McVay. I just was trying to be on script and, do what, everybody told me and not to tell anybody.
Okay.
I believe him 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I think this was a mistake. I think this was a pick they shouldn't have made, because I think you should go all in on trying to win with your Hall of Fame quarterback at the end of his prime. However, I totally believe this at this point, and after I was initially skeptical of how on board McVay was with it, I thought more about it, listened to what Greg Rosenthal said about it and other people. I was like, you know what? That's right. And what they said that is correct is Les Snead is a very good GM and a powerful person. The most powerful person with the Los Angeles Rams is Sean McVay. And what the Rams are certainly not doing is making long-term offensive quarterback plans that McVay is out on. This is not a situation where the GM, this isn't a baseball team where the front office is telling the manager what to do. And so I think it was tricky because it wasn't just, and what is being left unsaid about this is the real reason Stafford might be bothered is less about, is this kid going to take my job, and more about the point you made, Brew, did my negotiating leverage just get worse? I'm on it, I'm coming off a league MVP. I'm on an expiring deal. You know what I'd probably like? A raise and an extension, whether I plan to retire or not at some point. This made that harder. So I think McVay was trying to massage that. But I think McVay and Les Snead were in lockstep that we want to have our succession plan in place, even if I think that's a mistake. You think I'm wrong, KW?
No, I mean, that could very well be true. But I've yet to hear anything that convinces me that this hurts the Rams' Super Bowl chances.
Well, I agree with you on that.
What do you mean?
They still got a good
I just think every team that I watched draft a player last week, I said, oh, you know what? Maybe that team got closer to winning the Super Bowl.
So you're agreeing with... Yeah.
Except the Rams.
Because
I'm pretty sure, if not positive, and maybe we're in a Tom Brady situation where Stafford, God forbid, goes down, and Ty Simpson is the guy. God knows I like Alabama quarterbacks.
But you're saying it didn't help them for this year, which is a mistake.
And they're in win-now mode, and it feels like they are win also later
Maybe they
mode.
didn't think there was a player at 13 that was going to help them.
I could pick somebody.
That's where I disagree.
Ruben Bain,
right
I'm
there is
sure.
where I disagree,
Ruben
but I
Bain
also
showed up.
think
Do they have enough to win the Super Bowl?
Yes, but you could still have more, Brew.
Yeah, and I
get
think
it,
that's
but-
where when you look at the body language, I do agree that you're not making that type of decision without Sean McVay being on board in terms of, do we like this player? But do I want you to pick him at 13? Where we can get somebody that can impact us right now? We were right there knocking on the door. And so if we can get an impact player, whether it be defensively on the offensive line to help protect Matthew Stafford, or an additional wide receiver which had depth, or move back in the draft, and now we still get him because we get value for this 13th pick, we probably move back. You can move back to get 2 picks in the second round. You get a receiver, and you still get Ty Simpson. I just think you understand, okay, we do agree we want this player. Right. But we disagree that we want this player at 13. And I think that is the issue that's going on inside that building. I don't think Sean McVay wanted him at 13 because, yes, he's going to make those overarching decisions, but also what's going to be on him is, well, Sean McVay, you got to win. Well, if you give me a player that I can insert right now, whether it be on my offense or my defense, that I know I'm going to be dependent upon this year, then let's rock.
I'm just not sure they make that move without McVay being on board. Because like Nick, he has the
at
gravitas.
13?
13 does feel high, but I don't know how long they could have moved. The Jets had 16. Maybe that intel that the Jets would have taken him, or you know what I mean? We don't know where he would have gone. None of us saw this. So I think I'm with you. I think McVay was on board because it would be silly of them to make a move that McVay is not on board with.
If he wasn't on board and it leads to him being disillusioned, leaving, and replacing Andy Reid in 4 years, it's okay.
Knicks are back home for Game 5. This series is tied at 2. Here's the stat of the afternoon. If you win Game 5...
You love these.
Well, it's a very telling stat. Is it not?
I mean, I believe, Josh.
You win 81.5% of the games.
Guess what? Winners of Game 1 win like 80%.
I don't roll that out there.
It's just.
You don't think this is the stat of the afternoon?
No, I think
this guy's.
That's a cool stat. It should be in cool stats.
It's a great stat of the afternoon.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So you don't think it's a must-win for the Knicks?
No, I don't think it's a must-win for the Knicks. Really? I think they will win.
But
you think they're? You think they're?
I mean, I'm not saying if they lose, they're done, but
they have 18% chance.
It feels like a must-win to me. They look, they are the better team.
I agree.
I mean, obviously the seeding suggests that, but I'm just saying, watching them, Game 1 they won by double digits.
Yeah.
Game 2 they were up 12 entering the fourth quarter, kind of blew it. Game 3 they just lost, and then they routed them.
But you say Game 3 they just lost by a point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like their 2 losses are by a point, and their 2 wins they've controlled, and one of the losses they controlled until they blew it. So that's why I don't think it's a must-win. because I think the Knicks have been the better team throughout big parts of the series.
they are the better team.
And so if
But
they
you
were
go down
to lose,
3-2 going to Atlanta, you don't want to do that.
you don't want to do it. But if they lose, could I see them going to Atlanta and winning? Absolutely. And so I think the Knicks are gonna. I think it's gonna go
If they lost,
win,
you give
loss,
them about an 18% chance.
Listen, I think they are going to win, but I think that they can lose and be okay. I also, Brew, and I think you are with me on this, I am most interested in, has the game plan adjusted at all? Are you going to feed Karl Anthony Towns early and often? This is what I would like to see. Make Atlanta show you that they can stop it. Like what, I'm not saying 28 field goal attempts for Karl Anthony Towns is smart. What I am saying is I would let him pace for it until he's not shooting 50%.
He had games like that in Minnesota where the game plan was feed Cat.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And he would have big games.
And so, I mean, I think I would just like to see that and give Brunson a bit of a break and see how that works. The other thing the Knicks would like to do is, can they get Mikal Bridges going? Because they are going to need every single guy here. Everybody's going to be playing at the level OG is right now against Boston.
Well, there's some feeling this isn't a good matchup for Bridges, but in the next round he'll be better. Boston's a better matchup.
Why?
We'll see.
Why is Boston a better matchup? You got Tatum and Brown on the wings.
They've got some great defenders on Atlanta. They don't have the offensive scores on the wings. I mean, Dyson Daniels is a phenomenal defender, but he's not a scorer like those guys in Boston. But look, I agree with what you said about Cat. Also, the three-pointer's been telling. Now, you can't always control that. You can't really control that. But the 2 games they won, they shot over 45% from 3. The 2 games they lost, they were 32% and below. So that's big for the Knicks, too. How are they shooting it from 3?
Also, one of your best takes that I didn't take seriously, but I now do. You said before the series Trae Young should show up. I'm like, he can't. He plays for another team. You guys see last night who was at the Orlando game?
It's a great
I like that.
John Jackson.
I love that.
Now, John,
it was great
did a
support.
few hand gestures. I don't know if he
come on, enough.
From the sideline. But that
nice.
set the precedent that it's kosher to
show
up and root for your old team. Imagine if Trae bought the seats next to Spike Lee. He's rooting for the Hawks.
It'd be great for his brand.
It'd be great if Trae was there.
King of the Hill up next. Live from New York. It's a show that's pro phone case, okay? It's an investment. Get a case.
Not me.
You guys should get cases.
The new ones
phones,
don't need them.
Correct.
Yes, they do.
Get into 2026.
If you don't have a phone case, you're not living life dangerously enough.
It's the other way.
What?
With the new phone technology, you're just being overly cautious.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Great point.
Come on.
Today,
Where's Bruto when
Tyreek Hill reuniting with Patrick Mahomes, maybe.
Wow.
Meanwhile, whose final pick is in trouble? Not me.
Who is your pick?
Thunder Boston.
Amazingly, he decided this year to go with both of the last 2 champions.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Why I'm not on Denver. Denver doesn't have it this year. And maybe I might be a Wemby guy, but you kicked me off that corner, unfortunately. You're in for a real treat. It's time for the friendliest segment in all of sports. It's a special, almost done with the first round edition of King of the Hill.
Indeed it is. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, as always, Captain
I thought it was
Miles.
Tears Day, to be honest with you. I started writing a Tears intro about your Legos.
Oh, Brew hasn't seen them yet.
Big
reveal during World Cup Wednesday. I've taken on a side job. First things first, set design. You're not gonna believe it.
all these
we gonna have a
Legos.
new toy up here?
No, he brings the Legos and he's going to force the
World
set
Cup
designers.
Legos. You'll see them, Brew, and it's going to make you believe Legos, not just for little kids.
Also, Whit, can you call Lego? This is all free.
No. Well, yeah, please do. I would love to be partners. I would love to be partners. Injured, not eligible. Austin Reeves, maybe.
He might be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, but he hasn't played yet. Not eligible. Really sad to see Durant on there because it's long term, it looks like, at least for the rest of the postseason. Durant, the Durant reporting's been weird in that it was, it's a bone bruise, so he is out weeks, and now they're like, we'll see about tomorrow.
He's back on the. I don't know if that treadmill was underwater or not.
He's
back on the
treadmills,
today.
and Jalen Williams does not have the hamstring injury Luka has. It's a grade 1, not a grade 2.
Domestic.
They think that
no need to go overseas.
But they anticipate that maybe game 2 of second round he'd be available. But right now he's ineligible. Who fell off the hill? Some because their teams got eliminated. Devin Booker. One, Luke Kennard, because he flying high. He came back to earth a bit. Yeah. He's still playing great. Evan Mobley, I don't know what to tell you. I'm old enough to remember when he was the next Kevin Garnett. I don't think that's going to happen. And James Harden, I know exactly what to tell you. I know exactly what happened. But, it's the playoffs. It's Toronto. It's a great city. What are you going to do? Now, maybe they play Orlando. What's the Orlando night scene like? I'm not sure. Bottom row, watch out Epcot Center. Denny Avdia stays where he is. I'm putting Amin Thompson on there because here's the thing. Look at the Rockets on-off splits during this series. When Amin's on the court, they have won those minutes barely, but they've won them. In the brief time, and it's very brief, he led the league in minutes this year, and he's playing the most of anyone in the series. They are just getting annihilated in his minutes off the court this series. He can't shoot, and he needs to improve that part of his game, but he's been the most important player on their team. Embiid's playing again. He's one of the 28 best players in the playoffs. I understand they lost and he didn't play super efficient, but he's back healthy. He's back on. Fox and Castle stay where they are. Desmond Bane about to be the best, maybe offensive, or certainly the best shooter on a team that could make round 2. And RJ Barrett, playing well. Team's 2-2. Put him on the hill. 6th row. Jaden McDaniels makes the hill. I want to put him higher until last night. Until last night, Jaden McDaniels was going to be a top 10 guy of these playoffs. The talking, the defense, getting in Joker's head, all of it. Ayo! He scored 42 off the bench in a playoff game. Bulls gave him around
25.
Bulls gave him away for 4 second-round picks. You can buy a second-round pick for like $1.5 million. Bulls are like, good players. Ayo, Kobe White, what do we need? Jamal Murray drops a bit because his team's on the precipice. Donovan Mitchell drops because 6 for 24 was Grizzly. Marcus Smart.
Great.
Has he been the second most important Laker? I don't even think it's debatable.
No.
He has been, and it is worth noting, we didn't spend time because it was Friday, we were on Monday, that the Lakers were resigned that they had lost that game. They were down 6, 30 seconds left, everyone retreating on defense, not going to foul. Marcus Smart stayed engaged. The Rockets went full rocket. He got the steal, and that's what set the table for, and then made the 3 free throws. Yep. So Marcus Smart there. Jalen Johnson stays where he is. Top 15. Listen, a lot's being asked of Cade. He is going to show up on MVP ballots. He might be first team All-NBA. He was a number 1 pick, and he has at least 7 turnovers in each of the last 3 games. Not great.
Wilds wants you to really rip him.
I know.
No,
Is that up to your?
No, I don't want him to be really ripped. No, it's a privilege to be ripped.
Right.
Otherwise, you're like Devin Booker. You lose 10 straight games. Like, hey, you're off the hill.
KW wants me to rip Devin Booker.
I don't want to rip Devin Booker. I expect a lot from Devin Booker. I like Devin Booker.
So you expected them to beat OKC?
I just
get a game.
I want Devin Booker to be relevant in the NBA discussions on daily shows.
Here's the other thing. Off the air, what was KW talking about yesterday? How, he's thinking about wanting to maybe treat himself. He has a milestone birthday coming up.
Oh, yeah.
With a sick classic car.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what got Devin Booker on the brain.
Little subconscious jealousy of Devin Booker's sick classic car.
You know what? That probably is it.
Maxi's been unbelievable. Maxi is, listen, Club Superstar opens in a little over a month. He's been in line a couple years. He's going to be one of the tougher discussions.
Who's coming out at Club Superstar?
Well, let's
preview.
Say that for
give me a preview. Just like a trailer of a movie.
Embiid.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Embiid's going to be gone. Kawhi's been gone. We can discuss
just a teaser.
Scotty Barnes has been the best player on the Raptors. Jalen Brunson, CJ McCollum stay where they're at. Top 10, Jalen Brunson and his metronomic season. Just consistent. Basically know what you're going to get from him every night. That continues. And then 3 guys who move up. The lowest pick here is Chet. We have a 3rd pick, a 2nd pick, a 1st pick, a 1st pick. So I guess lowest pick is Jalen. But Chet moves up. His defense has really been unbelievable. And he gets overshadowed defensively because of the other super tall but taller, super skinny guy that can shoot in the same conference. But he is the Thunder defense similar to the Spurs in this. One of the reasons the guys feel so comfortable being so aggressive out on the perimeter is they know he's there protecting the rim.
Yep.
Cat, I think, has been excellent. He hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities, but he's been excellent. Paolo's been good. I don't even know if I feel like he's been excellent, but his team's up 3-1 as an 8 seed, so he gets to move up. Top 6, Hill is fair. I think the Lakers kind of were okay with losing Sunday. Had they won round 2 starts earlier, because the Sun, assuming OKC was going to sweep, which they did. Now, as long as they win tomorrow, I don't think they minded at all. They had to go back anyway. With that said, that might have been LeBron's worst playoff game of his career. Not given the stakes and everything, no, but the actual production. So he dips a tiny bit. Joker had a great game yesterday, but the 3 games since the last Hill was the worst 3-game stretch of his playoff career, so he has to drop. He has to drop because he's losing his matchup to the guy next to him.
Wow.
Rudy Gobert.
Future Hall of Famer, Rudy
Future
Gobert.
Hall of Famer, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Some people say, is he the best French defensive player in the league? I don't know. It looks like it in round 1. It's odd to have Gobert this high, but you know what would be odder? Having Joker ahead of him. Joker, and as you guys know, Hill's not left to right. They're exactly the same. Second row. Wemby drops only because he's missed 2 games essentially, or a game and a half. The 2 games he's played fully, he's been unbelievable. But since we last did the Hill, he got hurt and then had to miss a game, so he has to drop. I'm running out of ways to say, I think at this point, Brew, is Tatum at 90%? Is he all the way back?
I feel like 90 is he's almost averaging a triple-double.
His rebounding's better.
24,
That's my take.
What's your take?
And he's always been
Bionic
a great
man?
rebounder for his position.
No, the hotter take, because everyone has what else can we say? He's great. He's getting back. He's getting back faster than ever. Is Tatum actually going to be better?
Well, going to be, I think it's on the board.
Is his goal now 110% of who he was? Maybe he got a little smarter watching the games. He's a better rebounder. He's more patient. Maybe a little bit of lack of Tom Brady-esque lack of explosiveness made him a little savvier.
I buy that that's possible. The question I'm asking is, when I picked the Celtics to win the championship,
it was going to be this good.
It was that, and Tatum by the finals could be 80%. And now I feel like Tatum by the finals can just be full-blown first-team All-NBA Jason Tatum.
He's playing.
And then atop the Hill, and this is, one of the, taxes of greatness, there isn't much more to say. Shea's been unbelievable. He's going to win his 2nd straight MVP. He averaged 34 a game in his 3rd straight sweep. In the last 30 years, the only teams who have swept 3 consecutive round 1s, the best player on those teams were Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's been great. Team's been great. That's the latest King of the Hill.
Pretty good, Hill.
Good,
Got some bonus
good.
takes?
Yeah, I actually do.
Good.
I actually do. But I'll start with the real take.
Oh, wow. Curveball.
Let's move C.J. McCollum up. Because the guys on his row, Cade, obviously his team is at death's door, okay? Maxey, they're about to lose. Scotty Barnes, it's a 4-5 matchup. They are a little overachieving, but 4-5 is even. And Brunson, obviously. See, I think the Hawks are kind of overachieving. I know you picked. Did you pick 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nixon.
So I thought it would be a good series. I just feel like the Hawks, McCollum is leading his team to make this more interesting than we thought, maybe overachieving. And he's averaging 24 points on 51%.
And he hit 2 game winners.
And yeah. So I think he can move up. Bonus take
Bonus
number
take.
one. This is for, well, I'll go with this one first. Can we find a spot for Peyton Pritchard?
That was my bonus take. I need a new bonus take.
Bonus take is my lane.
Yeah.
That's why you. That's why
sometimes you don't even get to give regular takes. Sometimes Dusty's like, no time for you, Wild.
Because you got the bonus take.
I like to get Peyton on there, and then just look. Bonus take for you youngsters out there. Why is SGA atop the mountain?
The mid-range.
Is he the? Thank you, Nick. Is he the best three-point shooter in the league?
No.
All right. Is he the best dunker in the league? No. The mid-range.
Mid-range.
I'm watching these playoffs, and I'm watching team after team avoid the mid-range. If we're not in the paint, it's a three. Let me kick it out. Shoot the freaking mid-range jump shot.
So here is a new thing that's popped up on NBA Twitter in regards to that. Because SGA has a lot of similarities to Harden. As far as like regular season statistical profile, Harden was a better passer. Both of them very controversial in how often they get to the line, fouls, all that. With the question being, would Harden's playoff history be different if he was more accepting of, I don't have to take all these threes. I can take mid-range shots. I can keep drawing the fouls and doing the stuff and so I don't even know if I think that's true, but it is an interesting thought exercise. Like, did Harden fall prey too much to the analytical way to play, while SGA, truly is the mid-range king of the era? Yeah. I am comfortable saying I do think he is the best mid-range shooter since Jordan.
Kawhi has been a great mid-range shooter.
Durant's
and look,
good.
I do Durant. That's the point. So many of these
Durant's
guys
probably the right answer. Now
these are awesome players, and they kill you in the mid-range.
Yeah.
Like
Chris Paul was great at it, but not at the same volume.
Yeah,
but
I just come on.
Yeah. All right.
I have no bonus takes because my Peyton Pritchard bonus take was stolen by Brew. I'm not a huge fan of prediction markets, but occasionally I'll glance at them. And as you know, the show has been nominated for an Emmy, and I went on to Polymarket.
To see if we could bet it?
I
tried to do the same
thing. We
thing.
were listed.
We were?
Until last week when Nick forgot to put Steph Curry on his top 10 guards, and our Polymarket odds crashed. Now, since then, if you have a take about a list of guys, I wanted to privately say, hey, because you crashed our Polymarket odds with an unforgivable error, did you forget to add Şengün to this list? And he said no. He didn't slide off the hill. He just straight up doesn't belong on the hill whatsoever.
No.
So I would like to have a spot for Alperen Şengün for the following reasons.
He's had a few.
One,
really good games.
we challenged the guy to be better, and he said, okay, I will. So I like to reward that. First game he was bad, second game he was better. Like, you need to be better. He said, I will. He had 33 points, he's plus 10, game 4, a little bit less. He could have won both of those games. It wasn't his fault, he's not a point guard. Why did they win game 4? Leadership. That's what else we're looking for. Durant's not the leader. Şengün's at Rockets game 4 win over Lakers, fueled by early morning speech from Şengün. Amen Thompson said, hey, your motivational speech is why you won. Bleacher Report inspires the Rockets win. And then we go overseas. He is from Turkey. Emotional rallying cry galvanizes the Rockets to season-saving victory.
Where's that one from?
That's from Eurobasket.
That's a heck of a headline.
It is, jokes aside, interesting on one of the hurdles of being a non-native English speaker. He said he felt uncomfortable giving a speech, and it was a little bit. He's done a good job learning English, but I think that sort of puts a cap on your leadership abilities.
So listen.
So he's done a good job. I gave him extra credit. Jokes aside.
And
then I have one more.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Good take.
Oh wait, you have a bonus take or
About
one more thing on
Şengün.
Şengün?
Bonus leadership.
Sound
from Şengün today.
Oh, let me hear.
I'm ready. I'm ready for those. I know they're gonna hit. Well, we're hitting them too. So, we're younger. We heal faster than them probably. So, and we're just gonna hit each other and let's end of the day. What's going on?
Okay.
Love it.
Listen, I respect that piece of it, and your point about the non-native English speaker, I immense respect for that, and the different hurdles. It's not your native language and leadership when he's not. Durant was supposed to be the veteran guy, and he abdicated that responsibility. And one of the reasons they didn't trade Fred VanVleet, even though he got hurt, was because he's such an important leadership voice.
Yeah.
So I give
he's there with a sweater on the bench.
So I give him, and Steven Adams is important for leadership. So I give Şengün a lot of credit with that. However, we did this hill last Tuesday.
Yeah.
That was after only one game of this series when we had done it, and he wasn't on there. Since we've done the hill, Game 2 was a catastrophe for the Rockets.
That's true, sure.
Game 3, yes, he played well. They also, while maybe blowing the lead was not his fault, nobody says he can't just be like, hey, you know what? On the final possession of regulation, I'm not going to get locked up by the 41-year-old LeBron James, and if I do, I'm in overtime just going to be the best player on the court and save this season.
Did hit it off the side of the back.
Yeah, and so much like I didn't elevate anyone on the Pistons based on this last week when the huge favorite is down 3-1, I'm not going to elevate anyone on the Rockets when the huge favorite's down 3-1. I did elevate Amin Thompson. I'm not going to elevate two guys on the Rockets when the huge favorite's up 3-1, and I think Amin's been their most important player. So it was not an oversight. It was not a Steph Curry-like catastrophic error, and I really do like the fact that while Kevin Wildes is lying about the Polymarket thing, what is true is, while KW is very, don't worry about the Emmys, don't talk about the Emmys, he knows I deeply worry about it and care about it, and he knows, he has now put in my head, if we don't win, it will be because of the Steph Curry.
Certainly didn't help. Coming up next is Tyreek Hill going back to Kansas City.
Wow.
That's next up. First things
Wow. K-Dub.
Saturday night baseball night on Fox. Baseball night in America. Dodgers, Cardinals. Get to see Ohtani. Saturday, 7 Eastern, only on Fox. Welcome back to the show. Greg Jennings is here with a purple tie. It looks great. Chiefs already have a reunion with Eric Bieniemy. Perhaps a reunion with Tyreek Hill is around the corner. CBS Sports writing, at age 32 and coming off a major injury, Hill's best chance at playing this season might be back in Kansas City in a complimentary role.
Yeah.
Are you ready to see Tyreek back in Kansas City?
All right, this is where sports can be a little complicated. So I'm just going to say this on the front end. I have a complicated relationship sports-wise with Tyreek Hill because I think there's a lot of evidence that he has not been the best guy off the field, and I think he's made it at times hard to be like I'm a huge fan. I also am not going to lie and act like his time with my team wasn't some of my greatest sports memories are tied into Mahomes to Hill and that unbelievable connection. So if I, accept the first part as, hey, that's the tax of whether it's any type of entertainment that you have to, separate the art from the artist, so to speak, I think he's definitely worth a flyer. I think that he and Bieniemy obviously have a relationship. He and Travis have a relationship. He and Andy have a relationship. And there is a chance that catastrophic knee injury ended Tyreek Hill as an effective NFL player. So I wouldn't be interested in giving him a long-term big money deal. But Tyreek Hill, at his peak, in my opinion, Greg, was the single best athlete in the NFL. So if post that injury, he can be 80% of that, that is still a plus athlete. And I do think the Chiefs, while they supplemented their receiving core, and I don't think they have a desperate need, and I don't think Tyreek Hill at this point of his career, should be anybody's number one receiver until you see him post knee injury. If he's going to play football next year, I would imagine it would be for the Chiefs. And I told you guys 3 years ago that I thought in 2026 Tyreek Hill would be a Kansas City Chief. That I thought that's where he would go eventually post Miami. And so I think this is, if he's going to play next year, I would imagine it would be for Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm with you there. If he plays next year, I think it would be with Kansas City, not just because they would show interest, but this is where he wants to be.
Yeah.
He's been open about it, and he can make that choice. He can decide where he wants to play if he decides to play next season. But when you look at their roster and you look at their receiving core, it's hard for me to believe that they won't at least consider this as an option later. Seeing what they got acquired in the draft.
Middle of the year?
No, I'm not even talking about that late. I'm saying after off-season program,
After
going
rookie
into
mini
training
camp,
camp,
OTAs.
everything, because he still has a journey in his rehab process as well. But
When's he supposed to be fully back?
that's a good question. 'Cause I'm not sure.
I don't think they expect. I think he would be ahead of schedule if he were ready to play week 1. You know what I mean? This was a true 9 to 12-month injury, and obviously happened during the season. So I think you would hope that he's fully healthy by Halloween, like 100% back by then. But go ahead.
So I just, when you look at their receiver depth, they don't have tremendous depth.
A lot
And
of
then
young
with their
guys.
history of injury and not being available, it's like that's what makes it then hard to look at Tyreek and say, oh, well, Tyreek can be available, knowing that he's coming off of this type of injury. So it's tough, but I think if there is a team that understands who he is and what he can be immediately, because forget the plays, forget what they've done since he left. Just the rapport of the guys you mentioned, and you didn't even mention Patrick Mahomes, just that rapport of knowing that you have that guy in your back pocket. If you're Patrick Mahomes, you know you can get something out of that if he's available and healthy enough to play.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's fine. It makes sense. I don't expect him making a huge splash there, but I could see him making a big play in a key game at some point. I don't think it'd be consistent excellence, but I could see him contributing once or twice for a big catch here or there.
I mean, I feel like they would, in theory, have him in the role that right now they have slotted for Tyquan Thornton.
Correct.
The field stretcher.
Yep,
now,
yep.
Tyquan's much taller than Tyreek.
And I assume much faster.
So
I don't know.
So that's the thing.
Post-knee, I mean, Tyquan Thornton can move.
Yeah,
No,
he's
Tyreek
healthy.
is a different type of speed.
Well, I mean, I don't.
So even if
I
you
think
lose
you
one
could
or
beat him
two
right
steps-
now in a race.
Who, me?
He's
Yeah, I mean,
saying,
he's injured.
saying post-surgery. But so that's the thing I don't
You can't
know.
run anymore. I can. Then maybe I'll beat him.
I gotta see. I gotta see where he's
No,
at.
listen.
He's on crutches.
Listen,
man.
KW,
saying.
it's definitely true that when he's recovered from the surgery, he's no longer fast, then no team's
But
going to
is it fair for me to expect I'm not expecting 26-year-old Tyreek Hill post-injury.
Here's the question I have that maybe Greg would know, but maybe only an orthopedic surgeon would know. The type of injury that he had and the surgery that he had, when he is fully recovered, is the part that's the least back to normal, his change of direction, start-stop, or is it top-end speed?
That's interesting.
Because I could see a scenario where
Straight line
speed is close to the same.
Okay.
It's his ability to plant and
Shifty.
stop
Yep.
and do different things. That's what
That makes sense.
So I only dealt with a meniscus tear. And the thing that concerned me, and now he is far beyond that.
Yes.
We all know. But the one thing that I had to wrap my mind around was trusting that I can still make the moves. Like going straight, I feel nothing. I have no concern. But when I want to get off the line of scrimmage or separate from a guy or make a move, that's when I need to trust my body is going to hold up. So that takes time. So he can get back and he can be healthy, but mentally he's not in a place where he still trusts his body to be the old Tyreek Hill that they once knew and we all know.
But it wouldn't shock me at all if before he signs with a team, we see a video of him on a track running 100, and it looks like
good.
Tyreek pre-injury. It's more the other stuff. The underrated part about Tyreek that I truly believe he is the best I have ever seen in the history of the NFL at. I've never seen a player be able to go up for a ball, land, and from the time he landed, dead stop to top speed.
Yes.
I've never seen a guy be able to go from I'm standing still to full speed better than him. it was cartoonish. So I don't know how that
It'd be interesting
impacts
to
it.
see. You're not really big on. In the show, I'm the guy who's a fan of reunion nostalgia.
Yes.
Like I want Odell back, and I'm like, oh, DeAndre Hopkins might go to Minnesota with Kyler. Like I like all that stuff, but you usually are more pessimistic about older guys still.
Yeah, I am. But again, would he be worth 1 year, $4 million to see? Of course, to me that's a worthy. But if you cannot be relying on him, like if I heard, the reason the Chiefs didn't draft a receiver was because they, in the first round, because they're banking on that. That to me would be a problem. If it's just we'll see. And I do think there is something to, this is, I guess, a little nostalgic. If it's Travis's last year, Travis, Patrick, Chris, and Tyreek all being together for Travis's last year is something. Listen, it's not Mike Evans.
It's something they're winning games.
That'd be
It's a
real
nice story. You were getting,
What?
sentimental.
yeah,
Real mushy.
rear view mirror.
Andy Reid, Bieniemy's back. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them. I mean, I don't know. They've played in 5 of the last 7 Super Bowls. I think they'll probably be okay.
Yeah, like the Warriors.
Yeah.
All right, strange saga. Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers seem to be coming to a head. 2022, 8 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. 2023, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. Then he got hurt. And then he was away from the team except for a random social media post where he drove 90 miles an hour past Levi's Stadium. Wasn't great. Here's John Lynch.
No new update right now. We're available. Give us a call. Like I said earlier, I think it's the prudent thing to do. He's an extremely talented player. He's been an extremely effective player in our league. Situation didn't work itself out here. That's not to say that it can't be rekindled somewhere else, and we'd be happy to do something with anyone if the opportunity presented itself.
Greg, I'm adding a bonus question. The official question is who should be calling for Brandon Ayuk? The unofficial question is what's going on?
Yeah, so I'll answer the latter first. No one knows what's going on, but they don't even know what's going on to a degree. And this is where if I'm a team, who's calling? Like, I understand, like, Brandon Ayuk, when he was at his best prior to tearing the ACL, he was a really, really good player. And he would have got a lot of interest had he been able to come off that injury and then produce. There would have been teams that would have been very interested. This is odd. We haven't seen him on the field since the injury.
And he gave up money. He had no reason to give up.
Well,
Correct.
and so that's just odd. Do you even want to play football anymore? So
Correct.
I don't even know, with the question being who should be calling, is anyone going to call?
I think the Niners should just cut him. But they seem it's like dead set, like we have to get
Something.
a future 6th round pick or something. But I just don't, I think it's best for them to just be able to just move on and see what happens with him moving forward.
Well, I read on Spot Rack, and maybe you know if this is true, Nick, that he got $48 million from them for 7 games and 25 catches.
Well, yeah, because he signed that deal, and now I know they voided, but he.
They voided
the thing
a
is
lot of
this.
it. Yeah, it would have
he
been
could have
more.
gotten way more.
Yes.
Without ever playing again. Like he could have. His money was injury guaranteed, Brew. So or some of it that they he could have. If he would have just shown up and been like, I can't play or I'm not ready. They would have had to give him more.
But he was missing rehab.
He just stopped.
It feels like there's a lot of issues there. I agree with Greg. Like, I mean, if you're desperately in need, you could probably get him incredibly cheap.
Yes.
You take a flyer on him, maybe, but he just seems like he doesn't want to play. Seems like something going on. It's not really stable.
That's just.
And he was dropping passes the last time we saw him.
But that almost separate bucket. The only thing I would say is about this, and again, this is just my gut feeling and having followed it as best as I can. I hope he's okay. Yeah. It feels less about like, is he going to play in the NFL again? And again, I think he's young enough, and people come back from ACLs. I think he could. I think physically he could play in the NFL again, and more about like again, I don't want to speculate
His
on
health,
anything, but just in general, like, is he doing okay? And I don't think there's going to be any team that's going to be like, we're going to give you a draft pick until we have confirmation that whatever's been going on with him, that he's all right. And I don't know that anybody has that.
Yeah.
Coming up next on First Things First, talking NBA Finals. Is anyone ready here to change their pick?
What?
Yeah, it's in pencil. Right now we're headed back to the NBA. We are at a pivotal time in this show. One of you guys, really both of you, are facing an early exit for one of your finals picks. Nick, you had the 3-seeded Denver Nuggets. They're down 3-2, headed back to Minnesota. Brew, you had the number 1-seeded Detroit Pistons. Really went on a limb there. Number 1 seed. They are down 3-1 to the once frisky Orlando Magic. Brew, we'll start with you. Who do you think is in more trouble? Not teams, people. You or Nick?
I have no problem admitting I am in deep trouble. I mean, I think Denver could be one game away from eliminating. I mean, both of them could be.
Yeah.
But I think while I feel like Minnesota can win this series, I don't really feel like Detroit, I mean, they can win the series. There's no reason outside of Franz Wagner maybe being injured to
He
really
is injured,
think.
though. I mean,
yeah,
he's
I mean,
out,
is he
calf
gonna,
strain.
he's going to, yeah. So that could keep him out the rest of the series. And that does give them hope. But they've got no offense. None. And I
Now,
mean,
did they have an offense when you picked them?
well, I thought they did because
Brew
they were
believes in Dennis
averaging.
Jenkins.
I mean,
He's on the hill.
without Cade, they were cooking.
Yeah.
They were. I don't remember what the record was,
But
but
they
they went
kept
on
the
nice
1
streak.
seed, they
Yep,
were
kept
fine.
averaging 117 points a game, and that did give me hope that they would be able to find some offense outside of him, but they can't. And I said it earlier, Nick. Head to head, I feel like Orlando's better.
Well, they certainly have looked like it. Let me try to give you a little bit glimmer of hope. I think you would, however, while you're saying you are the one in more trouble and your team, they both have been down 3-1 at one point, but the Nuggets already got one of the wins. I think you do. Let's say they both come back from 3-1 down
To win the series?
to win the series.
Okay.
You would feel better about your Pistons in round 2 than the Nuggets.
Yes.
The Nuggets are going to be waiting, the Spurs waiting for them.
Sure. That's true.
Pistons are going to have either the Cavs or the Raptors. The Raptors who, I think are very pleased with how they've handled themselves this series, but I don't think are a scary team, and the Cavs are an obviously flawed team. So that's what
That's
the Pistons
true.
have going for them is if they can overcome this, they can maybe reset. What the Nuggets have going for them is overcoming it is all of a sudden so much easier because of the injuries of Minnesota. And it is really on the board that this is what is wrong with Denver is they are playing a team who was built by the guy who built them, and he built this team to beat them. And Rudy Gobert individually, for reasons that historically have not been the case, but in this series is giving Jokic, has gotten into Jokic's head where Jokic is second-guessing himself and all of it. And if he gets through it, that it might just feel like a total new lease on life. I would feel better about Denver's chance to make the finals if their players and coaches, even after the win, didn't seem so tilted. So Adelman is just snapping at reporters after the win, which I didn't understand.
It felt like that reporter perhaps was taking a shot at the lack of defense.
I'm not sure, but I don't know. But it was clearly there was a backstory there, and we didn't talk about it. We were going to. Jokic at the end of this game, with the whole "I'll give you the ball, I'll take it back," and then he got upset. They seem very off balance, even in the win. With that said, if they get through this series, I think they will have a real shot to beat San Antonio. I don't feel as good about it as I did 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I do, because I think maybe they'll be like, man, avoided disaster. We know we can beat this team. It's a totally different setup.
Aaron Gordon?
If Gordon's out.
Well, again, I don't. The Aaron Gordon's in and out. But I don't. It just feels like everyone's susceptible to be missing a guy. Like it's
Well, the way things are going, guys are going down.
Going down.
Oddly, the
right.
Spurs right now are the healthiest squad, right?
Yeah, they don't have any injuries.
The Spurs and
The Celtics. The
Yeah.
Spurs and Celtics.
Live from New York, it's first things first, overtime today. Are the Knicks facing a must-win game? The stat that you got to see. Danny, this stat was so cool, Brew gave me the ultimate compliment. He said it belonged in cool stats.
I heard he said, that is cool.
The stat of the afternoon.
Favorite
Meanwhile,
part of my week.
some franchise tag drama in Dallas. What's going on with George Pickens and Jerry Jones? And finally, special episode of Top 10 Tuesday. The category, NFL teams that nailed the draft. This is a good Top 10 Tuesday.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm laughing because Brew just put his earpiece in.
My
but it's
earpiece, I'm
unplugged.
having trouble.
So I just letting our producers know.
Andrew?
If you're trying to communicate with Brew in the next 20 minutes, you're not going to be able to.
Radio silent.
Yeah.
Sorry, doesn't have his earpiece. Kevin Wilds, Nick Wright. Parkins,
Hi.
what do
I
you
got a
got?
sneak peek at Danny's top 10.
I thought it was great.
A very, very interesting omission.
Yes.
Very interesting.
You know what? The Bears can't be on every top 10.
No, he wants them.
I don't know that that's what I'm talking about. Mahomes wasn't, the Chiefs weren't on it either. It's just an interesting omission. We'll discuss in about 10 minutes.
Right now, talking about the number 1 seeded Detroit Pistons against my Magic. Cade had another 8 turnover game. The Pistons only scored 88 points, and they find themselves in a 3-1 hole to the 8 seeded Magic. We had a different story as A1, but Parkins has been making fun of the Pistons all throughout the playoffs, and he probably switched it out because he wanted to be right. Here's JB Bickerstaff.
It's the simple things. It's take care of the ball and rebound the basketball. It's, again, hard to overcome. Turning it over, 39 of their 94 points came from our turnovers and their second chance points. And we knew coming in that's what this was going to be. And we just got to do a better job of us collectively.
Okay. Parkins, how shocking is it that the number 1 Pistons
It's
are
a big number.
facing elimination? 24 turnovers over the last 3
record,
games
yeah.
for Cade.
How shocked? Not shocking at all.
Come on,
Here,
man.
listen, hold on, Nick. The Magic side of this is obviously surprising because of how bad they looked at the end of the year. They lost the play-in game and all of that. The Pistons had all of the makings of the overachieving regular season team that when the playoffs came around, the rest of the league would catch up to them. Doesn't mean that Cade isn't great. Doesn't even mean that Jalen Duren isn't great and isn't going to be great and the Pistons don't have a really bright future. But so much of what the Pistons did in the regular season was we try harder than everybody. We're young, we're hard-nosed, well-coached, overachieved, and then teams catch up. And some teams get a little worse in the playoffs, some teams stay the same, and some teams, when everyone else's competitive level, it rises and catches up for the playoffs, they get worse. And the Pistons are getting worse across the board. Their best players are getting worse. Cade, we can look at it. Cade is turning the ball over more because it's one-dimensional, which we talked about all year. So teams can game plan for it over the course of a series. His efficiency is going down. Jalen Duren, an effort player, not the most skilled big at this point, and a very young player. He has been solved, flatly outplayed by Wendell Carter Jr., and their offense is abysmal in a series against a team that isn't playing very well. So we've seen it with a Hawks team that was a 1 seed, a Raptors team, a Bulls team. This happens. It happens.
I'm going to give you a compliment, Danny.
Thank you.
The Pistons are in worse shape than the Cavs.
That's not the compliment I was looking for.
But seriously, the Cavs should still win their series. The Pistons, who I picked to get to the finals, look done.
I tried to warn you.
I don't necessarily agree with the analysis, although I do. That does happen. I think that happens to some Thibodeau's teams. I think this is a tough matchup. And I said, look, I don't think Orlando matches up with the Knicks better than Detroit. I don't necessarily think they would play better against Boston or even Cleveland than Detroit. But head-to-head, they look better than the Pistons. Simply better. And it's because the Magic, whatever clicked, and I'm not sure it won't click off maybe during this series at some point. But something clicked where they're playing the level of defense they did a year ago when they were the second best defensive team in the league. And they, even though they aren't playing great offense, they at least have 4 guys, really 3 big ones in Bane, Banchero, and Wagner, who are legitimate scorers. The Pistons have 1 scorer. And that's why I don't even think Cade is playing that poorly. I just think the Magic are loading up in the paint so you can't get to the bucket, and then they're, throwing double teams at him, getting the ball out of his hands. It's almost 1 against 4 out there for him offensively. So
they're a one-dimensional team.
So
that gets exposed.
So I agree with you that is what is happening here. And I think a lot of your general Piston skepticism is being proven correct. Where I disagree with you is that, this is what happens when these teams get to the playoffs. Never in round 1. That Hawks team that we talked about made the conference finals and then got clocked by LeBron and the Cavs. The Raptors always made round 2 or the conference finals and then got clocked by LeBron and the Cavs. The Bulls did lose in round 1, but Derrick Rose tore his ACL.
No doubt.
And
doubt.
But the Bulls team that you're talking about that won 60 games when D Rose won MVP, then lost to LeBron and the Heat. We do see teams that are regular season juggernauts and playoff. We don't see this. This is incredibly rare and it's not as if they are playing a team. It would have made more sense if the 8 seed here was Atlanta or Charlotte.
Yep.
2 teams that, and I know Atlanta ended up getting all the way up to the 6 seed, but 2 teams that for 50 games at the end of the year were playing great. Orlando was dead in the water, according to everyone but me, and it was really, for me, it wasn't because of belief in Orlando, it was because of anti-belief in Charlotte, going into the final play-in game. They were firing Jamal Mosley. Paolo was out on the coach. They had just played maybe their 2 worst games of the year to the Celtics in Game 82.
Yes, I agree with you, but that analysis was wrong. And the Pacers came out of nowhere last year. And there is more talent in the NBA now than arguably ever before. Like you just mentioned, the Magic have 3 great scorers, not scoring particularly well in this series. Right. Jalen Suggs jumps off the screen as an energy defense guy, as does Bane, as does Carter. Yeah. Wagner, a great player who's hurt most of the year, healthy. Now I know he's not with the calf strain, but like a legitimate difference maker for them. Like it's just
they're not a typical 8th seed.
They're not a typical 8th seed. They got healthy at the right time and are playing well. And the Pistons are one-dimensional.
So you were right about the Pistons. I disagree. I don't think the Magic are playing that well.
I don't either.
I don't. That's the thing. I don't think the Magic all of a sudden clicked.
You don't think they? I do think they've clicked. I think just to get in this series, they had to click. Because we didn't think like you said, they lost to Philly.
Well, they beat Charlotte.
They pounded Charlotte.
Yes, correct. I mean, the Charlotte's it makes the play-in every other year and then loses by 30. Can we, Christina? Do we have the final 5.5 minutes of this game? Because it was 85-85. And the rest of the game, Orlando made 1 basket. And it was a banked-in 3. And they won by 6 because in the biggest game of the year, for the final half of the 4th quarter, that's what Detroit did. Throwing out the garbage time layup that I'm sure Joker would have been very mad about. And so, listen, I want to give Orlando credit for not letting go of the rope of their season and credit for the defense that they're playing in this series. But Orlando is not playing great basketball.
No, these are moderately open shots that are just missing.
I think this is more of a stinging indictment on Detroit than anything else, because you aren't supposed to lose as a 1 seed, obviously. No. You're not supposed to be a 60-win team. We haven't had a 60-win team lose in round 1 in almost 15 years. this is stunning. And even you, someone who didn't believe in Detroit, thought they were going to get clipped by Cleveland.
That's correct.
Nobody, I don't think the only person I heard talking that maybe Orlando was a bad matchup was Jason Tempf, the guy who invented roll gravity. So shout out to Jason.
Big month.
But I am stunned by this. Like legitimately, truly stunned that they look like this in this round.
I just think in retrospect, weird year in the Eastern Conference. There's no Halliburton. Giannis has a ton of injuries. Tatum has a ton of injuries. The Knicks, a good team, but very inconsistent at times this year. The Pistons were healthy, and they tried really hard. So they got inflated. Their regular season record is inflated. They are not a typical 60-win team. If we ranked the last 25 teams to win 60 games.
There's teams tanking. That's the other.
They'd be low on 60 wins.
I agree with that, but so if we remove the Pistons from the East, and we were like, hey, who are the 3 best teams? In some order, we'd say Boston, New York, and Cleveland. Guess what? Those teams are 2, 3, 4 in the seeding. We can say the Pistons are just healthy, except the fact their best player missed the last month with a collapsed lung, and they won anyway. Like, this is not supposed to happen, what is happening to Detroit right now. And if I were a Pistons fan, I'd be beside myself because this type of playoff loss, and I think this is kind of where maybe it's where you're going, maybe not, makes you rethink, wait, was this whole year fake? Like, do we just run this back and be like, young players get better, or is this team, are we going to be the next team that spins the Kevin Durant wheel? Says that's I
actually think this, if they, obviously you don't want to lose, but if they do, it can be a good thing. It can show you exactly who you are. We're not a 60-win team. So they know now they got to go out and get another stud offensive player. Durant.
I mean, it's literally just what Houston did. Yeah, Houston was a 2 seed. They were regular season
They also haven't lost yet. It's not like Magic can't give this up.
Well, that part's true.
They have, to me,
a little bit over.
They have looked over. They look like they've just been hanging on for dear life, Detroit.
Yeah, KW, you love
but I agree with you.
81% of Game 5 winners win a series. What about when it's 2-2? When a series 3-1, what is it? 17 ever have come back? It's like 6.5%.
Very rare. But
like, it's not great, don't get me wrong. But with Wagner's injury there and Orlando, we're acting like Detroit has averaged 98 points, and we're like, they can't score. Orlando's averaged 100 points.
No, Orlando is very inconsistent.
Massive gap. Rebounding is the same. Bickerstaff saying crash. Rebounding is like, this isn't this huge
An 8-1
gulf.
upset where the 8 seeds got 38-31 splits is just
it's a weird series.
Incomprehensible.
I could see Detroit coming back. All right, it's time for Top 10 Tuesday because it's Tuesday. We're looking back on the draft. We're talking about the top 10 teams that nailed the draft, and a real surprise, no Bears.
That's
true. We always think you just slot the Bears in here to give.
Well, they're number 1 in my heart.
Yeah, okay.
But they're not in the top 10. I would have liked some edge rush help. We can get to that if we have time. Coming in number 10, Bruce Ravens.
I like it.
Plug and play. Everyone mocked him to him, except me. But Vega goes to the Ravens at 14. Should help Lamar Jackson, who just had one of the worst sack percentage years of his career, one of the worst pressure seasons of his career. Continue Derrick Henry, great run blocker. And Zion Young. A lot of people thought he was a fringe first-round pick. Thought that was good value for them in the second round. The Tennessee Titans come in at number 9. I love Carnell Tate. I think he has, this is obviously the absolute ceiling of a comp, JSN level.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, my.
A great route runner, great hands, and he's done things at all 3 levels of the field. You can't, if you're trying to evaluate Cam Ward, it can't just be Wan'Dale Robinson as your big upgrade there. Like, I think that he's a legitimate chance to be a number 1 receiver. I loved that for them. Coming in number 8, the Bucs. We spent a lot of time talking about the collapse of Tampa through the prism of Baker Mayfield because we talk quarterbacks. But their defense after week 10, 25th in points allowed. They went 2-7 down the stretch, and they used 4 of their top 5 picks on defense, including, I thought, getting great value on Reuben Bain Jr. They needed to invest on defense, and they did. Number 7, the Miami Dolphins. Now, they had the most picks in the draft, so they got to throw the most darts at the board. I loved Caden Proctor, whether it's for Malik Willis or the next quarterback, an absolute monster of a left tackle. But also strategically, I'm not sure that any of these picks are going to win them a bunch of games this year. But, like, they're good, solid pieces at important positions that aren't necessarily going to win games now, but they're more developmental for the future, so they can still be in the quarterback market next year. I just thought they approached it very smart, one of the youngest teams in the NFL.
Oh, you think the Dolphins are in the quarterback market?
Next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Malik Willis.
It's a bridge.
You think he's just a bridge?
Yeah.
Malik Willis is a bridge?
It seems like they.
Yes.
They
I
think
mean,
he
they're
could
going to be the
more
worst
than
team
that.
in the league. I agree with Danny.
Yeah, like if they have the number one pick in the draft, I think they draft quarterback. If Malik Willis is good enough for them to not be picking top 5, he probably played so well that they won't be taking quarterbacks. I just thought it was a very smart way to approach your resources this year. At number 6, the Detroit Lions. They took Blake Miller. I like Derek Moore, who they needed some help for Aiden Hutchinson. He stays in-state, the kid from Michigan. But if you go back and look, they need to bring a strength back to Detroit. The 2024 offensive line for Detroit is when we knew all of the names. They were the best rushing team. They were among the best scoring teams. 80% are gone. So you get a plug-and-play tackle, and now all of a sudden you have Miller and Sewell. I think all of a sudden that becomes a strength again for them. Coming in at number 5, the Vegas Raiders. We can talk about mid-round picks. This felt like the right place to do when I woke up and I was like, you know what? Fernando Mendoza, he's in a better spot as a number 1 pick than Cam Ward, than Bryce Young, arguably than Caleb Williams walked into when you figure
certainly in a better spot than the Prince. The Prince had to save that whole franchise.
Yeah, so just all of a sudden you start comparing. It's like it's a pretty good situation. Coming in at number 4, the New York Jets. A lot of people have them at number 1. They had 3 first-round picks. I liked all of them. We'll get to the other teams in a second. But in addition to Bailey and Sadiq and Cooper, they just said, we're also going to instill a winning culture. Their top 4 picks, that's their record last year in college football, 57.
I like that.
Everybody went to the college football playoff. 2 guys national champions in Cooper and Pons. It's just, hey, we are going to get important players at big-time skill positions.
You don't need to scout too
win.
much. Just watch the college football play.
Yeah, exactly. Just watch college football playoff. Take the best players off the best teams. The New York Giants, though, come in at number 3. Arvell Reese's ceiling is ridiculous. That's now 7 former first-round picks on the defensive side of the ball. Maui Noah, the offensive lineman from Miami, it's like you help Jackson Dart. You upgrade an offensive line that is consistently ranked in the bottom third of the league over the last 5 years in the NFL. So you help your offense, you help your defense. I like how they split it there. Coming to number 2, the Cleveland Browns. They simply needed offense. Fauno, the top pick, versatile. He can play tackle after they did the interior offensive lineman moves in the offseason. But their defense was good. Their offense was abysmal. 31st in the NFL in scoring, and if the other team scored 20, they didn't win a single game. They used 8 of their 10 picks on the offensive side of the ball. If either Concepcion or Boston hits, that's a huge thing, and maybe the Browns are actually a good spot for a quarterback to be drafted to next year. And number 1, the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Again, best player available at a position of need. And you were able to trade around in the first round to pick up extra capital to ensure that you get Caleb Downs, to take the edge that you liked in Malachi Lawrence. We know their secondary was abysmal. They upgraded that. 6 picks in the first 4 rounds, 5 of them on the defensive side of the ball. Whatever happens with Pickens, the offense is going to be good. They have given themselves a chance to have a legitimate defense this year. I loved how the Cowboys approached the draft.
Wow.
Brew?
Well done. I like your list. Browns, look, they drafted well last year.
Yeah.
If this year is even close to that, then they got something going. I would have the Giants 1 if they had taken Caleb Downs at 10. So I'm with you on the Cowboys. I think that's just what they needed because in addition to his play, I just think his character, he's a leader. I think he's going to bring communication and just what they need to that defense. So I'm with you on the Cowboys as number 1. I don't usually speak that highly of the Cowboys, but job well done.
Well, hey, if he's the best player in the draft and you got him at 11,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Bonus take.
Bonus take, yes.
Is that allowed, Brew? You said earlier that was your lane.
No.
During the OT, I'm allowed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's in the bylaws, sorry.
Bonus take is I did not like the Dolphins draft. They had a lot of dart throws. I think they ended up putting holes in the wall more on the dartboard. And if I had to find a team that's not on your list, I might have put the Chiefs. But
Shocking.
it's bonus take. Real take is this. You okay, buddy?
Fine. How are you?
I know you're sad.
Sad.
You don't want to say it, but you think the Bears kind of blew it, and you're not.
Oh.
And the fact
I
that
would
you
never say
couldn't
that.
even.
I mean, you said they
squeeze
had
them
to. They had to ace the.
Yeah,
They had.
They were on your
you
top
couldn't. You
five.
couldn't even squeeze it. Not even in the top third of the drafts. They had a bunch of needs. They ended up having to use a premium pick at center because a guy retired.
Yeah, that's not great.
They probably need a left tackle because of injury. They weren't able to use a premium pick there.
Yeah.
And their biggest need was edge rusher.
Yeah.
And instead they took the safety.
Wow.
Got to play the board, Nick. The board did not fall the way they wanted to at those positions. Thieneman, day one starter. That plug and play. People had him going mid-teens to the Vikings. You get him at 25. You know what they call that?
Value. Oh, yeah. Let me hear about it.
Exactly.
I can't believe you're doing
And
this.
then, look, edge rusher, if you got the number one offense in football,
Yeah.
you're going to just be playing from out in front the whole time.
So you did like their draft?
Yeah, of course. Well, you know,
Just
it was
not as
I'm
much
saying,
as the
I'm
Titans.
saying I liked the team.
Not as much.
I like the
Dolphins.
team.
The-
They're not going to get aggressive and trade up for guys. Board didn't fall how they wanted to get edge rush.
You're worried.
Jadavion Clowney's going to be a Bear. Maybe DJ Reader's going to be a Bear.
Jadavion Clowney's going to be a
Yeah, they're going to address that as a
Is it-
veteran free agent.
What, are we playing Michigan? And
Wow. Didn't have that.
He had that one
awesome-
great hit.
Oh my God.
Number one
Fix the
overall
ball.
guy,
Helmets off.
Yeah.
Grab the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. This
That
season
was
started
great.
today. I'm not worried.
You're worried. Be honest, Danny. You're worried
Yeah.
about your Bears.
Is there any sweat on this brow?
You're a little worried about your Bears. Didn't fall the way you wanted.
I would've-
wanted an edge rusher. Ended
Would
up
have
with
liked an edge rusher.
second safety.
Wasn't
taken in the draft.
available. Wasn't available.
Clowney. I like Clowney.
I like Clowney too. Former number one
I
overall
loved him
pick.
about
See if
10 years
Mario
ago.
Williams is available.
If he can rush the passer, I'll take it.
Talking Pickens and the Cowboys and his franchise tag next.
Welcome back to the OT. We got Greg Jennings out here. Let's go to Dallas, where, buckle up, we have contract news-ish as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys. According to NFL insider Jeremy Fowler, quote, the Cowboys received verbal commitment via email, a little bit of a contradiction, from George Pickens' agent that the star receiver is signing his franchise tag, but he has yet to sign the tender, as Todd Archer reports. Dallas says they still have no plans to trade him. Greg, we have been down this road before. How do you expect this latest piece of drama with the Cowboys to unfold?
So I expect George Pickens to not be available for any of the OTA offseason program, mini camp, possibly even training camp.
Great.
Simply because he can miss all of that and not be fined. He obviously wants a contract extension. We've heard Stephen Jones come out and say, we're not extending George Pickens in 2026. I do believe that they're going to stand firm on that. He doesn't have leverage. He played great. Is he deserving of a contract extension? Yes. But in this situation with the Dallas Cowboys, you have CeeDee Lamb. If they did not have another guy that could allow their offense to still thrive and understanding who they have at the quarterback position, then I think you have to make this move. But to pay two receivers, and you look across the landscape of the National Football League, and it hasn't paid off for the team, a lot of the teams that have tried to do it. And so if you're the Cowboys, you got him for a third round. He overplayed that value.
He was excellent, yeah.
And now you can tag him. Unfortunately for George Pickens, fortunately for the organization. So I don't see him coming in for the offseason at all.
I don't see him coming in for the offseason either, but that does not mean that there won't still be a lot of twists and turns and drama in this story, because I do believe that is what Jerry wants. Call it cynical. That Netflix documentary came out, and he said, drama, 24/7, 365. He wants people to be talking about them. And so, I don't know if you're a soap opera guy. I am not, but
I was actually.
Were you? Okay, I was workshopping, so I'm like, as the star turns.
As the world turns?
Well, yeah, no, I know. I'm thinking about Cowboys themes one. Thank you. Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Okay.
Days of Our Cowboys.
Days of
Like, if
Our
I go back, let's go back last year. Okay, yeah, Jerry Jones, the main attraction. So this is the most recent. We had verbal commitment via email. It's kind of a weird thing. Let's go back to the Micah negotiations last year. I've spent 5-6 hours with him myself, had a lot of discussions. Most of the issues we're in agreement on, and I've discussed it all. But we obviously don't have an agreement relative to a new contract. But that, in April of last year, projecting confidence. Micah Parsons ends up not being a Cowboy. We go to April in 2024, the Dak and CD stuff. A little bit more negative. We'd like to see some more leaves fall. We'd like to see more action. It's called option. I've spent my life being an option quarterback, whatever that means. That's just the style that you have. So you never know. You may give some money to somebody that you shouldn't have given it to. That kind of indicated, I don't know if we're going to sign these guys. He, of course, ends up signing CD and Dak. It's just going to be weird. Like this is not going to be a normal franchise tag. Every player is upset by the franchise tag. This is not going to be normal. There's going to be a shot at the agent. There's going to be a trade request. There's going to be he told us one thing and now he's doing another, because that will get us talking about them in May, June, and July when otherwise we wouldn't be.
Yeah, so I agree that we're going to be talking about this because there will be some twists, maybe some turns, but in terms of what they can and can't do, like
the practical reality of
George
the contract.
Pickens is in a situation where he has little to no leverage. And I'm being nice by saying little. And this is not because of his performance or anything. This is just the contract in how it rolls out for him. He's gotten tagged. He hasn't signed his tag. You have to actually physically sign the franchise tag, so he has to go to the facility to do that. He's not going to go out his way to do any of those things, opening up the opportunity of possible injury or anything. So all of that is null and void right now until he signs that franchise tag, which then he doesn't get fined, so there's no real reason.
He can sit out until week 10 if he wants and still accrue the league year towards free agency. It's just bad business.
So I don't think he will go into missing games. I don't think he will go into missing games.
I assume he won't either, but we'll see how ugly it gets between now and then. It's just bad business to trade a premium draft pick for a player, have him then play excellent, and then have no intention of signing him to a long-term deal, knowing that you're going to upset him with this type of franchise tag. I don't like the process.
So I don't know how ugly it can get other than George Pickens being so disgruntled to where he says, I'm not coming at all. I don't see that happening. I just don't. Like, he can feel a type of way, and I would feel a type of way. However, that's almost $30 million on the table. 27.3. Like,
it's a good deal.
You're not just going to just say, you know what, I'm not going to do it, knowing that they can do this again next year. Like, it just doesn't look good, unfortunately, for George Pickens. But for the Cowboys, this is exactly what you want. A player to outperform what you put up to get him and then be in a position where you still don't have to pay him even though he is deserving of it. Yeah.
Let's go to LA and talk the most recent chapter in the Ty Simpson story. They keep not changing their story, but we'll say updating the version of it. We have the first video of him as a Ram. A lot of surprise and speculation as to how this was going to go down. But Ty Simpson said, you know what? He's been a part of it. He's been a shadow agent for the Rams this whole time. Take a listen.
We tried to keep this, under wraps as long as we could. It was something to where I knew they were interested, but, they wanted to, make it private and didn't want people to know that, they were interested. So I had some secret meetings with, Coach McVay. And, I was trying to be on script and, do what, everybody told me and not to tell anybody.
The name Simpson, Ty Simpson. Greg, you starting to believe that Ty Simpson's a good fit with the Rams?
So from a player perspective, absolutely. I think he's going to be a good fit. When you get drafted to a team, it's all about situation and what that situation looks like, how it best suits you. Can they maximize who you are? And I believe in Sean McVay, so I believe this is a great situation for Ty Simpson, the player. as it stands, going into the league year 2026, he's not going to provide them with anything. Not even necessarily security at the quarterback position if something were to happen to Matthew Stafford, which is why I feel like there was this consensus of we do like the player, we want to draft the player. I don't believe Sean McVay wanted to draft him at 13.
Listen, I think that trading down and getting him makes it a lot more palatable. In theory, some other team, if they had intel, could have taken Ty Simpson. I just think that there are two truths that can exist at the same time, right? Like we can contain multitudes. Truth number one is this is an amazing spot for Ty Simpson.
100%.
Right? Like you get to,
I don't think anyone would argue that.
Great coach, don't have to play, learn from a Hall of Famer, great weather, great weapons, great organization. Like if he is going to succeed, the fit is excellent for Ty Simpson. That's that part of it. Whether or not this was a good idea, I'm just shocked that Sean McVay's on board with it. And I understand the argument. The argument is we are not going to be bad enough to draft in the top half of the first round with Matt Stafford again. We got this pick because of a trade. And so we are in a unique position to draft a quarterback prospect that we will not be whenever Stafford is ready to retire. But, man, try to win this Super Bowl. Les Snead is excellent at drafting. The last time he had a pick around this pick, Simpson goes 13, he takes Jared Verse.
Jared Verse, absolutely.
You think it might have helped this team?
That phone call was a lot different.
You think it might have helped this team if they found the next Jared Verse? This is the guy who drafted Todd Gurley. This is the guy. The last time he had the 13th pick, he took a guy by the name of Aaron Donald. It worked out pretty well. Yeah. So the idea that, they're not one receiver or one lineman or one linebacker away. Maybe. Or if you hit on the guy and you find a great linebacker or edge rusher or guard, of course that could help you win now. And then you figure out tomorrow's problem tomorrow with who the successor is to Matt Stafford. There's no amount of logic that can make me believe that this was the right thing to do if you're trying to win the Super Bowl.
So in terms of trusting this organization and the development of this pick in Ty Simpson in solidifying your future moving forward, I do trust that. And I believe that was a process. They thought through all of those things. In terms of the head coach, Sean McVay, acquiring in this year's draft saying, you know what, when you look at our draft board, Ty Simpson is the number one draftee on that board. I do not believe that was the case.
It seems impossible.
I do not believe that.
Seems impossible.
I do believe he was higher on their draft board than possibly some others.
Marcus Thompson will join us coming up. Talk a little Nuggets, and if they're actually in the driver's seat, down 3-2. Welcome back to the OT. Marcus Thompson, senior hoops writer for The Athletic, joining us. Let's talk some hoops and go to Denver, where the Joker and the Nuggets finally had the turning point game we were waiting for, albeit over a Minnesota team that did not have its starting backcourt. But the Joker was doing Joker things with a 27, 12, and 16 triple-double. They're down 3-2, but feels like they're in control of the series. Here's Jokic after the win.
Definitely detail-wise, physicality, focus-wise, I have been here before, and we know that you need to, like, when you're playing the elimination game, you need to be extremely focused and extremely locked in. And I think we did for the most of this night.
So, Marcus, thank you very much for joining us. Jokic was excellent. Do you feel like they are, even though they're down 3-2, back in control of this series for Denver?
Yeah, I mean, we felt that way leaving Minnesota, to be honest. Like, that was the wild part. It's like they're up 3-1 and might be in trouble, because if you just saw Ant, like, you knew that was rough. And then obviously he's going to be out at least a week, so probably out for most of the series. I do think Denver, like, has control now. Like, Jokic, I think it's so critical for him to reestablish himself over Rudy, because Rudy was just bullying him. Like, Rudy was just, like, manhandling him and making him look like not the best player in the world. So I do think Jokic finding his groove back, that's just so critical because they don't have Ant to match it. They don't have anybody who can like just say, all right, I'm going to force my way onto the Denver Nuggets. I think that's just too much to overcome.
So I agree with you. Like I think Denver will win the series, and Jokic is amazing, obviously. There's no superlative that you could attach to him that I would be like, that's ridiculous. But I do think what happened early in this series makes me reevaluate some of the things that I had previously thought. I was like, is this the best team that Denver has put around Jokic? Like they were peaking at the right time. And now when they get a Spurs team in the second round, assuming the Spurs lock it up tonight, they'll have at least 6 days, depending on when their round 2 series starts, of rest advantage. It'll be in San Antonio, and Minnesota will at least have presented some blueprint for temporarily slowing them down. It does make me, even if Denver wins, and I think they will, it does make me downgrade how I feel about Denver's chances going forward.
Yeah, and I was so high on Denver. I'm like, everybody's talking about Oklahoma City. Watch out for Denver. That's what I was thinking. I think no matter what, this series kills them. For what you said, obviously, you just gave Wemby and Stephon Castle, right, and Luke Kornet a blueprint for at least a game plan for Jokic, at least a way to make it work. But bigger than that, no matter what, this is a 7-game series.
Correct.
Like we've seen it. They spent last year going 7, and then what happened at the end of that second 7? They ran out of gas. Now you're starting this with 7, and then you got to face San Antonio. And if you somehow get through San Antonio, you get the Thunder. They needed more than anything a quick and easy series, and they find themselves in a dogfight. Like it was already a gauntlet they were going to have to go through anyway. But they just made this, it feels like impossible. They're going to have to get through the 2 best teams, and they just had a knockdown, drag them out with a 6 seed. That really hurt Denver's chances. I definitely reevaluate them after this.
All right, so now let's go to Detroit. Maybe the most shocking result so far in round 1, where the Pistons trail the 8-seed Magic 3-1 on the series. 25-9 from Cade Cunningham, but there was the 8 turnovers. This is how Cade described his frustrating night.
Going into it, shocked, but with the way that we've been playing, that stuff's not good enough to win games in this league. This league's too good. They're a good team, so they're out rebounding us, turning me over. We haven't hit enough shots. Our defense hasn't caught its footing, so it's not shocking that we're losing the games playing like that.
Marcus, I had been calling the Pistons the try-hard Pistons. Great story, great future, but an overachieving regular season team that I didn't think was ready to come out of the East once everyone else ramped up their intensity in the playoffs. What does this loss tell you about Cade and the Pistons?
That 60 wins ain't what it used to be, right? Like,
yeah.
And I really hate this for them because they play the right way, and it's a real exciting, very red meat type of basketball. Like if you're from that ilk, you I like watching the Pistons because it's a fight, right? Like it feels like a unique style of play.
Well, they play hard in the regular season, which not everybody does. Man. They play hard in the regular season.
Playing hard in the regular season gets you 20 wins. Like if you just play hard, you're gonna get 20 wins just on doing that alone. That was the Spurs motto, right? Spurs played hard. They're gonna execute. They're gonna get 50 wins that way, no matter what, right? So you can really boost your stock by just playing hard, and they do that. But in the end, this makes sense. Like they're the number 1 seed, they're a 60-win team, but it makes sense because they didn't have a number 2 scorer all year, right? Jalen Durham was really good, big man, had a great year, but I don't think anybody was thinking in the playoffs you could count on him for 15 to 20. And they need that. They need another creator. They couldn't shoot all year, so they can't shoot now. They're the worst 3-point shooting team in the playoffs, right? So some of this stuff is just you have to learn how to win in the playoffs. You can win 60 games, you can win 70 games. The playoffs are a whole different bag, and they're learning that because they matched up against a team that went strength for strength and just happened to be stronger and better than them at the thing they're good at. I think that's the part that's surprising. We didn't expect Orlando to teach this lesson, right? I thought it would be like a Boston or something. It's like the Magic. The Magic, by the way, who were on the brink right before winning a playing game. just a minute ago, we were thinking Jamal Mosley was out and it was chaos there, and somehow they're knocking off the 1 seed.
Yeah, so I want to be very clear. I was doubting the Pistons as a playoff contender all year, and I had them losing in the second round. I did not have them getting bullied off the spot, potentially losing in 5 to the Magic. But when you watch and you think about it, and I know Wagner now has the calf strain, but he was hurt all year. He comes back. He's healthy. Wendell Carter, he is outplaying Jalen Duren. Their defense is turning over Cade. Wagner goes out, and am I doing this a little bit just to show the video because it's a sick highlight? Yes. But Kane comes in for Wagner, who's hurt.
Please show it.
Dude, he's locking up Cade at one end and then just booming on their second best player at the other end. And that's a microcosm for Duren for this whole playoff series. He's averaging 9 points a game. And sometimes I'm like, I notice Suggs over you. I notice Wendell Carter over you. It's just, if you didn't watch the regular season and you watched this series, you might not be very impressed by Orlando because it's been ugly basketball both ways in terms of shooting. But you would not think that the Pistons are the better team or the 60-win team if you watch the talent on the floor.
Not at all, right? They actually look like a viable team. You like their pieces. You like what they have. They could bring in like Kane and Anthony Black, and they got Desmond Bain shooters. They got it feels like they shouldn't be an 8 seed. Like that's what it really feels like to me. Like,
well, they weren't supposed to be, right?
Orlando. They were not supposed to be. So you're starting to see that. So I do think Orlando was just a really, really tough matchup. And somehow if the Pistons survive, I think they'll look better in the second round. This is a styles make fights type of deal. And they just ran into a team that played their game better than them. Orlando's really good when they want to be.
Well, and depending how the other side of the bracket goes, we could get a nightmare scenario for television networks where we could get Raptors Magic with a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals on the line. But coming up with Marcus Thompson, all of a sudden the Knicks in a must-win Game 5 at the Garden. Coming up on the OT. Welcome back tonight. Right down the road, the Hawks take on the Knicks at MSG for Game 5. The series is tied 2-2, with one of the Hawks' wins being at the Garden already. Both games the Knicks have lost were by 1 point in each game. Marcus Thompson with us. All right, best of 7 series, but obviously all the pressure on the Knicks. Game 5 a must-win here in New York, Marcus?
Man, come on. This is what the Knicks live for. The cardiac kids, right? I feel like the Knicks just wanted to make it interesting. That's all. Just
entertainment.
They'll handle business. Now, yeah. You know, all these Knicks fans want to sweep it out. You don't really want that. This is what you want. You want a little heart attack with your success, right? Like that. I feel like this is how the Knicks live. They live this way. Karl-Anthony Towns is ready. He's finally established himself. It's over. Knicks winning this series in 6.
It's all part of the master plan to get Ben Stiller and Timothy Chalamet an extra courtside game. Okay, that's one theory.
That's the bar.
But mine is that they might just be a flawed team. So I think it is a mass. I don't see the Knicks winning the series if they don't win tonight. I think this is going 7. I picked Hawks in 7. I think Knicks win the night. Hawks win in Atlanta in Game 6. And this thing is coming back to the Garden where I don't know if I'm going to trust Karl-Anthony Towns to get it done in a massive spot. So I'm sticking with my pre-series pick of Hawks in 7.
You very well might be right. This is a flawed team, and the flaws really come out, especially against a team like this. CJ McCollum is a problem that you will have to contend with. So I might be with you.
McCollum's a problem, and Bridges is not doing much of anything. Marcus, thank you. Enjoyed the games. We'll talk to you again on the OT.